Let's bring in Stuart Varney, the anchor of Varney and Company on the Fox Business Network. Stuart, good to see you this morning. Let's start with these numbers that we're talking about a freeze. Can you explain to us in layman's terms what it means to us as taxpayers? Some have said this really is a drop in the bucket.
I'm afraid I have to agree with that. It really doesn't mean that much, Jane, to be really honest with you. If this spending freeze is indeed imposed and lived up to, it may save $10 billion per year. It may. There's a whole question about whether or not it's actually going to be imposed and will stick. Many Democrats do not want this kind of spending freeze. They say that more spending is required to get us out of this recession and create jobs. So it is indeed a drop in the bucket. If you save $10 billion per year by freezing some of the government spending, well, you're still looking at a $1.35 trillion deficit for the year. It is a drop in the bucket. It may or may not actually be imposed. It is, in fact, a political response to an economic problem. Voters hate debt. They're responding to that hatred of debt.
Okay, Stuart, here's my question, though. When my husband and I go over my budget and I say, I'm going to cut back on those gourmet coffees, and he laughs at me and says, what, $3? It's a start, isn't it? Don't we have to start somewhere?
Well, yes, of course it is a start, but it's so small. It is almost, I hate to use the word meaningless, but it is so small in a $3 trillion a year total government budget, $10 billion a year. Well, it's a start, fair enough, but it really doesn't mean very much to any taxpayer.
How did we get here?
We got here because of the entitlement programs, Medicare, Medicaid in particular, which are out of control. Spending on them is just escalating very, very rapidly, eating up the budget, costing us a large portion of the deficit. We got here because of the stimulus plan, $787 billion, and we got it through general increases in government spending. We are spending way more than we're taking in. We have to borrow the difference. The president is trying to narrow that difference, but what his solution is very, very limited indeed.
Can we blame an administration? I know some Democrats are saying it goes back to the Bush years. Some are saying it's what we've done in the last year. What are your thoughts?
If you go back, you can go back generations. And what you've constantly found is an increase in government spending. It just won't stop. It's very, very difficult to rein in these ever-expanding entitlement programs. You can go back through President Bush, back to President Clinton, back to first President Bush. You can even go back to first President Reagan. They can't have that much influence on this ever-increasing level of government spending. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Stuart, one last very quick question for you. Just looking forward instead of looking back, when you talked about the budget deficit numbers that the Congressional Budget Office is putting out today, that $1.35 trillion, they also said that we're looking at a muted recovery going forward. What exactly does that mean? Muted
being you don't have the economic growth that you really wanted and that you should have when you come out of a severe recession. Normally, when you've had a recession as bad as the one we've just had, you should start to expand your economy at 4, 5, 6, even 7% on an ongoing basis. A rapid recovery from this nasty recession. We're not going to get that. At best, we're going to get 2-3% growth for this year, 2010. That is a muted recovery.
Stuart Varney, the anchor of Varney and Company on the Fox Business Network. Stuart, thank you.